Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, I will be doing my semi-final preview for the match between Samoa and Australia. But if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Nonetheless, let's get straight into this preview. Right, so this match will be the second semi-final, an absolutely huge matchup between Samoa and Australia. It's going to be exciting. Samoa, they have been putting win after win together, currently on a 4-match winning streak. Australia, not quite as much, as they were beaten by New Zealand in the first round, but they had a tough fight with South Africa, but in the end, just able to get themselves over the line. But now looking through at Samoa's previous fixtures, like I mentioned, they're on a 4-match winning streak as we currently sit. Their first game, they were victorious over Japan, then they were able to beat Scotland in a closely contested one, 14 points to 12, in which they did have to come back, which is something that maybe could happen in this game up against Australia. And then the last game that they did have in their pool was up against England, and they were able to win that one by 7 points. And then the quarterfinals came along, and Samoa, they started the match extremely well. It was Steve Onisai getting them underway, and then there was the Spanish comeback. They were able to get it back to 12-all, and then on the last few minutes, Samoa just took it to that whole new level, which I actually thought would be the intensity that they brought to that whole quarterfinal, but instead saving it for the last few moments, getting the win and winning at 34 points to 12 in what looked like quite a comfortable game, although at halftime it was a different story. But now looking through at Australia's results, the first game of the London Sevens for Australia didn't go the way that they had planned. They were beaten by New Zealand 24 points to 19, and then from there they were able to get a big win over Canada 26 points to 5, and then their last game they were able to beat France, who have really actually been struggling for this leg of the Sevens, so they'll be disappointed with that, but looking to fire back in Los Angeles, which is only a couple months away. Then looking through at their quarterfinal fixture, it was up against South Africa, always going to be a challenging game, and South Africa actually had themselves a 17-0 lead. And then Australia, similar to what we saw from the Spanish, they fought back, but they didn't just start with a little comeback. They kept on going and getting themselves that win, 21 points to 17, which then secured them their spot in the semi-final. So that means that they have booked their day with Samoa in the semi-final, and that is going to be a tough game for both of these sides, don't get me wrong. But then on the other side of the draw, you've got New Zealand and Fiji, so whoever wins is not going to have an easy final, but they both want to get there. We'll have to wait and see what side does get the better of that semi-final at Twickenham. But now looking through at key players for both of these sides, I will start with Samoa, and I am going to go with that guy who did score the try early on, and that is Steve Onisai. He was a little bit quiet at times, but any time that they needed him to step up in that quarterfinal, he was able to get his hands on the ball. And with that extra pace that he does possess, it may be something that Samoa used to their advantage. I see that Corey Toole may have an injury of some sort, as he has kind of been popping on and off the field a little bit more often than not. So I'm wondering whether or not maybe they try and use Onisai, see if he can break down the wing and use all of that power and pace that he has got. But then another name that I have got, it is Paul Scanlon. He scored 2 tries in the match up against Spain at 2 very important times as well. One in the 5th minute, and then also one at the end of the game in the 14th. But he will be excited for this game up against the Australians. If he gets 2 tries in this game, you would have to think that that would almost confirm a spot for Samoa in the final to take on Fiji or New Zealand. But you just never know in a game of sevens. You can be 17-0 up, and then you can lose at that full-time whistle. But now looking through at the last name for Samoa that I have got, I have decided to go with Valvasa Afa. He was one of the players that I did have for the last match, but I am going to be sticking with him, as he did prove exactly why I decided to pick him, as he was playing very well up against the Spanish. But now 3 players from Australia. First of all, Henry Patterson scored 2 tries up against South Africa and looked very dangerous in the process. Nick Maloof is my second Australian. He was able to get a couple crucial turnovers at the perfect time, including that very last one that did stop South Africa from being able to possibly get themselves a last-minute try. And then the last name that I have got is the youngster Ben Dowling. If they don't have Corey Toole out on that wing, Dowling's got pace, and it's just whether or not they do decide to start him or bring him off the bench like they did in that last match. But nonetheless, now we're up to that stage of trying to predict a score. This is always the hardest part of the videos, trying to work out who is going to be winning these games. But for this game, I just feel like there's something brewing for the Samoans. I think they win it. The last game I did say they'd win by 10 up against Spain, which was the case up until the last 2 minutes or so, where they just went on a rampage. But other than that, it was relatively close. And for this game, I think I am going to say that Samoa end up winning it by 10. And we will see whether or not that will be correct. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.